5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Talk radio.
You hear us, we hear you.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Good evening everybody and welcome to the KTPF Community Talk Show. Not long now till Christmas Day, is it, Steve?
Yeah, the last chance for us to say Merry Christmas.
Yeah!
Have a great time.
I don't know. Well, I had to make it a little bit festive there, didn't I?
Yeah, we had the camera lowered the other day.
Yes.
Set up something up for it.
Yes, we did.
Hi, Aggie.
Good evening, Aggie. Just like to let everybody know and remind everybody that if there is a problem with the live stream, please refresh, because it's not down to us, it's down to live stream. And if we lose you, we will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so please bear with us. And as I say, it's not down to us, it's down to live stream. Welcome to the show, everybody. And we've got a really good show tonight, haven't we?
Yes, we have
our friend,
a young lady, Barbara Meiklejohn-Free.
Meiklejohn-Free. So it should be really good because she's very much what they call a Jill of all trades, I would say.
Yeah, well, apart from the many things she has, she's actually a shaman and seer.
Yes, she's got many talents, including a medium, a high priestess, a healer, a singer, a drummer, dancer and storyteller, and we're going to speak to her later on and find out a little bit more about herself and everything else. So no, I'm not going to call her that because I know Barbara. So if I get it wrong, she would shoot me anyway. Right, are you getting up there? Because at the moment you're being a pain. Thank you. That's the dog. Andy's being his normal self, Aggie, I think. But we love him for it anyway, don't we, Steve?
Oh, we do.
So,
I like his new book. He's just managed to purloin from somewhere.
Oh yeah, Andy.
Yes.
Andy Mercer.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant Andy Needham.
No,
So,
that book belonged to
Andy Mercer,
Andy
did
Mercer,
it? Oh yes, I did see.
We're going to get him to come and do one on Missy.
Yeah, that'd be an idea. Yeah, because our Missy, when we had Tigger, God bless his soul, she was a very timid, pain in the backside, I'm going to attack you, Sue cat, wasn't she? She loved you, but she never loved me.
No.
Ever since Tigger's gone, after 12 years, because she's 12 now, nearly 13, she's gone all kittenfied.
Yeah, she's playing. She's
letting me stroke her.
She's getting on your lap.
So, yeah, that's the worst thing. She's getting on my lap. So, I don't know what's going on there. That's paranormal enough in itself after 12 years. But yes. So, at 9 o'clock, we were bringing up
Miss Meiklejohn-Free.
Miss Meiklejohn-Free. Yes, we will do. All the way in sunny Derbyshire. Or, if anything, it was like last time when we saw her. She couldn't make the mind, body and spirit.
It was very snowy
Derbyshire. Yeah. So, so hopefully she'll be alright. We'll be talking to her on the phone later. And I know these links, they don't work very well if they've got a long link, Andy. That's the trouble. So basically, Johnny Mickle-Free. Stop it. So
we're going to tell her, you know that.
Oh yeah. So basically, you can talk to her tonight if you want to ask a question. You can talk to her in the chat room, and you can Skype us because, as I say, she will be on the phones, and we've only got one landline. So, so if you want to talk to her on the phone, then on the Skype, then you can do by making us one of your contacts at ktpf.paranormalshow, and you can ask your questions yourself. But we've had a very busy week again, haven't we?
Yes,
we're getting there.
Yep,
Run out of boxes.
we ran out of boxes.
Yep.
Bathroom's finished.
Bathroom's finished. Back room's finished.
Back room's finished. Our bedroom, the walls are starting to get stripped.
Yep.
I need to find a bright, terrible pink underneath.
Oh, it was awful.
And underneath that pink, there's yellow.
Oh, and green somewhere
And
along
green.
the line. We've got a bedroom which was purple walls and purple wallpaper. We've stripped the wallpaper back.
Yeah, we have on one wall, yeah.
And we've got pink, bright pink.
Terrible colour.
Horrible, horrible, horrible. I'll be glad when we get it painted. Trouble is, Steve's got to bloody paint it white before he can paint it the colour we want it. So, you know. So
and they've got a long list of stuff to do.
I know, but we're getting there. We are getting there. So, like purple, not this purple. Really brilliant purple. Yucky, yucky, yucky. Well, I don't know where our Sandman went today. He, I think he's having problems with his computer, but so I want you to be our eyes and ears either way, even if he is there. But
well, if he's there, he'll pop in.
He'll pop in and tell us. But don't forget, if we have any problems, just shout in the chat room and say, "Wait, can't hear you." Blah blah blah. Okay, so you know, and we'll see how we go.
So if they start typing in caps, we know something's wrong.
We know there's something wrong, yeah. Now, I don't know whether you've been on the Facebook page, but Steve sent me a link today, and it was about, before he goes into his bits and pieces, it was about a house that's in Belgium, a mansion, an abandoned mansion at that. And apparently...
It was abandoned in 1990.
1990, and apparently... Right, it was explored by a London urban explorer, and he's took some pictures. Mind you, some of the pictures look like paintings, I must admit. And basically, when they left, there was half full glasses, expensive furniture. It says it's as if the owners just upped and left.
Well, the antiques are still in there.
Yeah, and you know, something out of Scene of Shining, you know, but yeah, it was like weird. Why would somebody leave a place so beautiful? Mind you, the wallpaper's fallen off.
Well,
Look at them stairs. If you go into our, I'll put the link on in case you haven't seen it. But I would really love to investigate that place. But some of the pictures
I just
on
learned
there,
to investigate that staircase.
I bet that thing doesn't come up again. So
Let's come up. Let me see.
let's have a look.
Let's have a click on that.
If not, I'll have to get it off the front, off of there. So let's see if I can do it.
Yep, I'm up. It works.
It works. Oh, good. That's all right then. But yeah, there's so many lovely pictures on there. Them stairs, they look gorgeous. You know what I mean?
You've got a garniture there on the mantelpiece. It's kind of worth a
Oh my
fortune.
God. But I wonder why they just upped and left, or did they just disappear? Perhaps they've been taken by aliens.
Perhaps they were run out of town by the spooks.
Never know. You never know. So, I'm not the only one who wants to do it. So,
I mean, let's face it. It does happen. I mean, the cage itself.
So,
people have
you know,
left, and our Andy's been there.
This is it. So yeah. But that would be nice, wouldn't it? And talking about aliens and stuff like that, sometime in the near future, we're going to be talking to somebody about the.
It doesn't, does it, Andy? It looks like it's been painted rather than.
It does, doesn't it? That. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was up there.
You got mail.
Yeah. We're going to be talking to, waiting for a date from somebody concerning, she says, when I find it again, the Mars Codex. So we're going to be talking to two people concerning that. I don't know if you've heard about this Mars Codex at all, but that might be interesting to talk about. So it doesn't look real, does it, Andy? That's what I thought. So, but as I say, if, we're going to be talking about somebody about the Mars Codex in 2014, and
Do tell, he says.
do tell, yeah, be interesting. I'm going to give you the link. Okay, no, do tell Codex. Right, okay, there's a link for it, Andy. You can go and have a look. It came up in my feeds the other day, and I've contacted them. And the powers that be, George
That's George Haas. Isn't it?
Haas and his colleague, William Sanders.
His colleague you can get at ufoteacher.com.
No, that's a different guy. That's Richard Smith.
That's Richard Smith.
Yes.
He was confusing.
He was very confusing. He's another guy.
I was listening to his lecture on there.
Yeah.
And was like,
Richard
get
Smith.
to the point, please.
He's this other guy that I was thinking about getting on as well. He talks about the Moors and the Masons or something, wasn't it? That we were listening to.
Well, it took him a long time to get to the point.
Yes. So, but yeah, some things that are going to be coming up in the new year, as well as more groups are coming on to talk to us about themselves, and I've also had another group that's contacted me from America, and they've asked if they could be on the show. And basically what they want to talk about is to discuss their paranormal photographs, their paranormal investigation tour group, and where we take people on guided tours, and they want to also tell us more about that. And
I did have a look at a lot of their pictures that they've got on the site there.
Maybe Carla's listening in, so if she's listening in, she can get involved this evening. But yeah, I must admit, some of the pictures on there, most people would say pareidolia, or whatever you call it.
They would.
Yeah. But where we're talking about that, not that face on Mars nonsense again. We'll see what it's all about, shall we? Right, I'm going to hand you over to Steve.
It's not just a face, they have buildings and...
Buildings, yes.
Rocks that look like animals.
Yeah, but he did say on there, it is a rock that looks like an animal.
Not an animal.
Yeah.
He did.
That's what he said on the Codex thing, so that's what I heard him say. It is actually a rock.
Yeah.
Right, go on then. What observations have you got? My love?
I've got a couple of bits and pieces.
Go on then.
Something from some history, but I'll start off with Sharp Entertainment. They're looking for a family, must have children who live in the house as well. This is in the United States, who currently live in a haunted house and are dealing with active paranormal experiences on a day-to-day basis. Are the ghosts in your house affecting your family? We want to hear your story for a new pilot. Yes. Please email your name, contact number, picture of the house and family, +3 haunting stories that occurred in your home. There's a casting call for our friends in the US of A. I wonder what they're going to call this one.
Don't know.
Right, here we go. I'm now going to tell you about the Durham Lights, aka the false Durham Lights, or the Winterburn Lights.
All right, okay.
Okay. A nice example of a few chance and unclear facts morphing out of control and spawning suspect Fortina from 1864 to 1870 in particular, though not exclusively in the winter. Wrecks became common on the Whiteburn Steel, some aptly named rocks between Sunderland and Tynemouth in the north of England. These wrecks were in some cases were caused by a series of mysterious lights that appeared on the shore, and that attracted the eyes of sea captains who believed they were the lights of Tynemouth Lighthouse just to the north. The consequences were, to say the least, unfortunate. Several ships came ashore, and several of those ships did not get off again, or at least not without local help. David Clark, in his article, tells of 160 ships being wrecked in that period. In fact, those numbers that ran aground, not all paid the ultimate price. Many got off again without help. Local fishermen were roundly slandered in some parts in the press as wreckers, and given the lack of evidence for their involvement, they were understandably peeved. I'd be peeved as well. A commission was set up, and they found nothing as usual. The one thing that I find interesting is that the description of these lights resemble accounts of Wood of the Wisp and Jack-o'-lanterns, or Ignis fatuous, foolish fire of folklore. I was a bit worried about saying that one.
I bet you were.
So, and it didn't just stop after they built the lighthouse.
No.
There was a few more after that, but it's not happened for a long time. So here we go on to the next one. I always push the button too far on this one. Incredible new insight into Noah's Ark
Oh, yeah.
from a clay tablet inscription.
Mm.
Most people will be familiar with the description of the Ark, traditionally wooden ship floating on floodwaters, animals, windows, all the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now new evidence has turned this description on its head, and has revealed that the ship was in fact a circular disc shape. For years, archaeologists have scoured the world for the factual evidence for the Bible story of Noah's Ark. But due to a lack of scientific proof, many believe the story was just a myth. However, linguistic expert Dr. Irving Finkel believes firmly that Noah's Ark and the flood myth describe real events that took place, and his basis for this is not faith, but archaeology.
Mm.
So he's evidence coming from a 3,007-year-old clay tablet. The tablet was found in the Middle East by Leonard Simmons, who served in the RAF during the 1940s. However, the ancient artifact wasn't subject to any research until Simmons' son Douglas took it to the British Museum in 2008. An expert in this kind of writing, Mesopotamian script languages cultures department of the museum, Finkel was able to translate the text on the clay tablet, leading to a new description of Noah's Ark's myth. The tablet described the story, which becomes account of Genesis in the Old Testament of Noah. Mm. The Ark saved every animal species in the flood.
Except the unicorn.
Oh yeah, she missed it. He was too busy having fun. God speaking. The text describes God speaking to. Here we go. Atram-Hassis, a Sumerian king, who is the Noah figure in the earlier version of the Ark story. Mm. He says, "Woe, woe, read woe, Atram-Hassis, pay heed to my advice, that you may live forever. Destroy your house, build a boat, despise possessions and save life. Draw out the boat you will build with a circular design. Let its length and breadth be the same." The ancient Babylon text describes the Ark as around 65-meter diameter coracle with 6 meter high walls and built in 2 levels. The craft was divided into sections for different kind of animals. The 60 line of text which described the detailed construction manual for building the Ark claims the craft was built using ropes reeds before being smeared with bitumen to make it waterproof. Experts have always assumed the Ark was an ocean-going boat with pointed back and forward, but according to Finkel, the Ark didn't have to go anywhere, it just had to float.
Right, well, Andy said the ship didn't exist. He said, Hinkle Finkel, did you say? And the Heffalump. They missed the Heffalump as well.
No,
and he said, ooh, it sounds like a classic UFO.
Doesn't it just? This is all written down on a clay tablet over 3,000 years ago.
Really?
So does it give a bit of proof towards the UFO?
I don't know, because they go on about Picasso and all that lot and pictures with UFOs in it, but you know what I mean, which goes back to whenever.
Yeah.
So, but it makes me wonder whether they've been painted later and somebody's like just put a
UFO in it.
Yeah.
On a £50 million painting, they just pointed at all UFOs.
Well, they're always copying stuff, aren't they?
Okay. Biblical reincarnation.
Oh God, now what?
How awesome are you, Elijah, in your wondrous deeds, whose glory is equal to yours? You are destined, it is written, in time to come, to put an end to wrath before the day of the Lord. That's from Sirach 48:4-10a. the disciples asked Jesus, "Why do you describe Elijah must come first?" He said, in reply, "Elijah will indeed come and restore all things, but I tell you that Elijah has already come." They did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they pleased. Then the disciples understood he was speaking of John the Baptist.
Oh, right.
Matthew 17:10-13.
All right.
Now, if this isn't a perfect example of the teaching of reincarnation in the Bible, then I don't know what is. Of course, no Orthodox, ultra-conservative Christian will admit to this, but how else can the passage be explained?
Well, like Andy says, seriously, he said, there's always a problem with translation, Semitic and non-Semitic languages. They're often not a direct translation of the written word.
No, they're not. A lot of the old languages use the same word to mean more than one thing. So it's very hard to get the exact script.
Yeah, especially if you Google. Yeah, I tried to Google Malay this week and changed my English to Malay, and Gary didn't know what I was talking about. Go on.
Okay, I now have an RIP.
Okay.
Loch Ness monster hunter, Membi researcher, cryptozoologist Roy P. Mackle has died.
Oh.
It's a great loss to the field of cryptozoology. He was born August 1st, 1925 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. For many years, Mackle was a University of Chicago biologist, best known to the general public for his research in Loch Ness, and of course the Mbembe and other cryptids. So,
that's two we've had this week, in 2 weeks.
In the same field, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, same field.
So, yeah, because I think Lord Pye
went
as well.
Also, somebody else went last, and that I put on last week for cryptozoology as well.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. If you can hear puppies in the background, so they're in the front room, or the back room rather, living room.
We're in the living room.
We've got two left. They're not ours. They belong to the RSPCA. So, but yeah. So if you hear a little yelping, it isn't the chicken's back. It's the dogs.
And he said he didn't recognise him because of his false beard and funny hat.
Who? Oh, never mind. Don't
Elijah.
worry. I lost it. Elijah. Right. Okay. Well, let me just quickly go back and say hello to who's in the hot seat.
In the hot.
Who's in the chat room?
In one, we have Andy Mercer.
We have Andy 707, and also we have Reiki Debs, and we have Aggie's there as well. And I'm sure with Reiki Debs, Lee's somewhere about. And funny enough, talking about decorating, she said she's been doing her bedroom this week. Yeah. And she said that when she did her bedroom, the name Paul appeared on the wall above where Lee sleeps. And she said it's very strange. I don't know anyone called Paul, right? And then she turned around and said it took loads of 4 coats to cover it. 4 coats to cover just one word called Paul. What's it going to be like to cover that pink upstairs? Lee is here, good. And as I say, there is more people listening because I know there's not that many that's in the chat room. So if you are in the chat room, if you're not in the chat room, why don't you come and join us, and then you can ask questions to Barbara when we call her in 6 minutes' time. So I'm just going to play our little advert. Saw that pink? It was ooh. It was very ooh.
It was ooh, wasn't it?
Yeah, you should see the purple. Ugh, God. I don't know. But we'll see you after these words.
The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store is a one-stop shop for all of your ghost hunting gadgetry needs. Run by ghost hunters for ghost hunters, the shop is filled with all of the latest in investigation equipment, shipped in from all around the world, from high-quality digital dictaphones to EMF pumps, infrared illuminators to laser grid pens, CCTV equipment to data loggers. All of our equipment has already been imported, so you can buy it safe in the knowledge that there will be no hidden costs. And with our postage promise, you'll never pay more than the actual postage price. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.
yeah, that's the pigs for you. So if you ever want anything, you can get it all down there in East Sussex from the Paranormal Investigation Group. And that's at the store with Tim Brown and his men. So I don't know how far I've turned that up now. Let me just check my levels. 1, 2, 3. That's all good. Okay, so just to let you know, as I said to you last week, there's not many paranormal events happening this week. Obviously, with Christmas coming up, and we won't be doing any more paranormal events until the new year. So what we'll do is we'll let you know what's going on round about January, etc. Won't we?
Yeah, apparently Deb's had bright orange in her hallway.
Yeah.
That's now covered.
God, what do people think?
And they make it, well, she chose it years ago.
Oh, I don't know.
Lee was shocked when he saw it.
So one of my friends turned around and said, when you said about the pink, Dave turned around and said, didn't he? I live in a frigging Barbie house.
Yeah, Sam does love her pink.
She does. So, but yeah, I just put the link on there. I don't know if any of you know, but Trifield Paranormal Network is one of our sites. That it's just a network forum that you can join, and there's a chat room on there, and it's all part of the paranormal community. So you know, and it's basically been put there for the past year, and you know, we'll see what happens. If it takes off, it takes off. If not, then we'll cancel it. So I'm going to give it one more year and see what happens. But I must admit, there's not many paranormal friendly people out there, is there, Steve?
No, they're either not there or keeping themselves to themselves.
This is it. So, but never mind. That's their choice.
Which, to be honest, you can't blame them if they're going to get people having a go.
Oh, this is it. And don't forget, you can join the forum on the KTPF Community Talk Show. There is a forum there, and I will be updating it soon because, as I say, what with my other sites that I have to do, UK Shadow Seekers and everything else, I do have to get another round to it, I think. Steve found his this week, didn't you?
I did. And answer to Andy, yes, we are on next week.
We are on next week. Yes. Somebody said to me, are you taking a break over Christmas? I said, don't be silly, I'll get moaned at. So we've got Stephanie coming on next week, talking about a book.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll probably be a short show, but she's coming on anyway to talk about the secrets of the shadows.
Have to make the effort.
So, yes.
We do.
Yes, and then in the new year we've got Amy Vickers coming on telling us about Star Child, the updates and what's happening after Lloyd Pye's demise.
Sad demise.
Yes. Anyway, I'm coming to you live from Glastonbury. Oh, it's a bit opposite from Essex, isn't it? Are you away for the holidays?
Was he down for the solstice?
I don't know. Maybe he was. And I hope everyone enjoyed the winter solstice last night and yesterday. So now the nights are starting to get shorter, I would say.
I can't stop yawning.
Why can't you stop yawning?
I don't know. I started and I can't finish.
So, it's time for me to ring up the certain young lady. So you'll have to let me know whether you can hear her okay. All right. So, no longer. They've got to get longer to get shorter.
The days are getting shorter.
But winter has officially started. So happy solstice to everyone. Right, and a very festive Yuletide. Right,
yeah.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to give her a ring.
Happy Yule.
As I said, we will reintroduce her in a moment. Let me just get her number again. And I said, I don't know whether I can read down on here. Is that it? That's it. Yay! I will learn how to use this phone, even though I've had it God knows how many years. Right, okay. Let's see how we're doing. You'll have to let me know if you can hear her, okay? Remember?
Cheers there. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, good. Right, okay, guys in the chat room, I need you to be my ears. Make sure you can hear Barbara okay. Can you just say hello to them for me, Barbara?
Sorry, say that again?
Can you just say hello to them for me?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Hopefully they can. It's all good.
It's all good.
That's what I like to hear. Okay, well, as I said to the chat room listeners before, that we have Barbara Meiklejohn-Free. I hope I've said that right.
Yes, you did.
Okay, on the show this evening.
Yeah. Andy wanted us to take the mic.
Yes, Andy said he's met you before, but he wanted us to call you John Meikle-Free and God knows what else.
I get called all sorts of things.
Well, as I said to you before, I'd like to just thank you for honouring us this evening.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, it's been great to finally get you on the show. As you know, I have wanted you on for quite some time. Been pestering you.
Trying to get a hold of me.
Yeah, this is it. Right, well, many of our listeners may be familiar with your work because, like as I said, our paths have crossed many times when Steve and I have taken part in mind, body and spirit shows, as you do quite a few of them, don't you?
That's right, yeah.
But people will know you as the Highland Seer, but we'll find out a bit more about that and everything else that you have a title for. But first of all, how are you, Barbara? How are you keeping?
No, I'm great. It's the end of the season now. I mean, I haven't been doing the shows now for about a month, so it's been really nice just to have my me time.
Yeah.
And it gathers my thoughts, and I'm really excited because the next book, the Book of Destiny, is getting finished in the next couple of weeks, and lots of new projects coming up, a book on past lives, sacred site cards, lots of things happening. So it's really, really excited. I'm excited every day. You know, I'm one of these people that, I wake up going, wow, another day on our beautiful planet Earth. So very, very blessed indeed.
Yeah. Well, getting to the questions, I'd like to take you back to when you was a child and your first encounter with spirit, because you are a medium, as well as other things. And I would just like to know if you could remember the first encounter that you had and what your reaction was.
Oh, I remember it. I remember it very well, and you do, especially if you have spirit as your family all the time. And I would have been about 3.5 years old, and I was kind of used to going to bed at night and people walking through walls, doors opening. To me, it was sort of quite normal. And then I remember waking up one night and seeing a very strange-looking man standing at the bottom of my bed. And he was really tall because he touched the ceiling. And I went through to my parents and I said, "There's a rather strange man at the bottom of my bed." And they just said, "Oh, don't be so stupid. It's just your imagination." And of course I went back and it continued on, and I found out, I mean, eventually I knew it was a Native American man because of the feathers and the headdress. But it wasn't actually until I was 17 and I went over to America, and I went to one of the trading posts over there, and I walked in and I walked up to the stand, and his picture was there, and his name's Touch the Clouds. And he's Mentora Sioux, and he was the uncle of Crazy Horse.
Oh, right.
And what was interesting was that many years later, I think it was about 15 years later, I was at the Artifimmy College, and I had a picture drawn of a Native American guide. And when you put the picture beside the postcard I've got, it's identical. Everything, the stance, turning to the left, the headdress, everything. There isn't any. You couldn't tell the difference. It's quite remarkable.
Wow.
And that for me was a real confirmation of him being there and guiding me and watching over me.
Right. Now, I believe when you was a child, you were bullied by other children because of this. Is that correct?
That's right.
You know, and obviously when you left home at 15,
Yeah.
and after a while things took a turning point for you. Could you tell us how spirit has helped you through such difficult times?
Well, if you read any of my books, I don't have any shame or guilt or blame or anything. I will speak openly and honestly, and I went through a period of time where I'd left school. It was an absolute nightmare. I was raped, and I took to drink, and I just went to hell and back again. I was lost, as sort of any 15, 16-year-old is. And I went through a very, very difficult time. And I tried to kill myself 3 times. And the third attempt, I'd gone to this party, I'd taken drink, and I got to the point where I said, right, that's it. And it was in the middle of nowhere. It was near one of the loch gates on the Caledonian Canal. And I walked down there, and I had it planned, and I sort of slipped into the water and thought, right, that's it. And the next minute, I was dragged unceremoniously out of the water, and I didn't tell anyone where I was going. And I just remember seeing this pair of feet, and being aware of it being a man, and that was it. That absolutely, I tried twice before with tablets and drink to kill myself, and it would have killed 10 people. It didn't touch me. And on the third time, I kind of got it. I kind of figured out that I was on this earth plane for a reason.
Yeah.
And realized that when any of us go through that process, no matter what age we are, we're actually not necessarily wanting to die. We just want out of the situation we're in.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a massive turning point. And it was through my childhood, being stoned in school and being bullied and everything, was because of being able to see things and sense things, and it happens to so many, because I was, at the time, nobody knew about dyslexia.
Yeah.
And I was left-handed, so that was the 2 things that kind of, in that day and age, went against me. And this nowadays, thank goodness, there's a lot more help for that. And I've delved deeply into it now to discover more about why we're going into an education system that's geared to left hemisphere and geared to people writing with their right hand. Of course, nowadays our children are given more of that free choice, but there's a lot of people out there who unfortunately didn't get that choice. A lot of people that were left-handed were made to write with their right hand, and so there's a lot of work to be done to sort of help people from that. And it was interesting, through my childhood and teenage years, I always had spirit around me. There was always, no matter where I was in my desperation or my cry, there was always spirit. And I guess really it's because I knew that love was so powerful and strong. I kind of wanted back there. And, I know a lot of people that have actually passed over because that cry to go home, which I felt when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
We want to go back there because there we have that peace. We don't have the pain. We don't, we come to this earth plane, which is incredible, actually. We come here to experience all aspects of life, and that is, all the teachings. And, I myself, like a lot of other people, have gone through a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, and I've experienced everything there is to experience apart from childbirth.
Yeah.
And I found that when I've been in my deepest, darkest moments, that place of despair, that's where I actually learned the most.
Now, among your titles, I'm glad you got through that. Among your titles, when you grew up and got older, you became the Highland Seer.
That's right.
How did you acquire this title, and what does Seer do, Barbara?
Well, I acquired the title from Swain MacDonald, the Highland Seer, who I met when I was 12, and he took me underneath his wing. And funny enough, I'm just looking at his picture here as I talk about him. And I worked with them up in the Highlands. I lived up there. Every opportunity I got, I went up there, up to our guy, with family people that were going, and friends, people were going up there for readings with them. And I just learned so much. And I saw this incredible man, in this really old room with, swords in the Battle of Culloden. And I grew up in those circumstances. And so, unfortunately, Swain was amazing with the spirit world, but he drank spirit. And unfortunately, that spirit got a hold of him. And he passed over, unfortunately. But before he did that, he handed me the title of the Highland Seer and said, you need to carry on this lineage line.
Yeah.
And up in the Highlands of Scotland, you've had, people have probably heard of the Bronze Seer.
Mm-hmm.
And seers are people who walk between the worlds. And it's very much when you go back into the customs traditions of Scotland, of Ireland, there are the people who walk between the worlds that have that knowing. It's very much, if you go back into Greek times, they're called oracles. And it's being able to kind of multitask in a way through mediumship, through dream weaving, interpreting dreams, healing, all different aspects. And what I've done is woven what I've learned in the Highlands of Scotland along with my travels to working with the Native American people as well and many other tribes into a very earth-centered, traditional-based teaching, so it interweaves everything.
Yeah.
What I love about it, and especially in shamanism, is there's no rules and regulations. It is a path that you walk, and you connect with Creator.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. I love it. And I'm a member of Obod. I'm a member of the Pagan Federation, member working with Children of Artemis. So I weave right across the board.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any boundaries there.
No. Andy's saying that you're actually confirming something that he increasingly is convinced of. We sensitives, he's a sensitive, have to go through negative experiences in order to awaken our abilities.
Well, it's not only that. What I found was, I remember somebody once saying to me, why did you choose to do all this? And I said, well, how can I help others?
Yeah.
How can I have an empathy? How can I know if somebody's gone through something unless I've experienced it myself? Because as sensitives, we are sensitive to that energy field. So if somebody comes to me, I had a lady came yesterday, and when she came in, I was very aware of a young man that had passed through suicide, and I could feel it. I could feel that energy.
Yeah.
And I knew what that energy was, so I could feel it. And being a sensitive, you are, and all the things that I've gone through have absolutely equipped me. The one thing that I always say is that when we're working with the spirit world, we got to get out of the way. We cannot have any blockages.
No.
We can't have anything that will hinder us. So you will find that most sensitive mediums have all gone through a heck of a training ground.
Yeah.
And a very harsh one. Not an easy one, ill health, like I suffered cancer, like I suffered, all those things. And we go through all of that, not as a victim.
No.
But it teaches us to have discernment, to connect with that person, and you feel whether it's on a mental level, emotional level, spiritual level, physical level. And we are, what people who are listening and the people that work in this field need to understand that doctors we go to today are phenomenal, but they're only dealing with the physical aspect.
Yeah.
And there are more people that are needed. There's too many hospitals, too full up with people, and these people have not necessarily got physical ailments. They will have emotional ailments. I remember when my dad was in for a quadruple heart bypass.
Yeah.
I spent my time going around the ward speaking to all the gentlemen. Do you know what? Not one of them in there was physical. They'd either broken up from their wives, they'd lost somebody.
Yeah.
It was, and I spent, when my dad was there for over a month, I spent a lot of time speaking to people.
Yeah.
And it was quite incredible. There were people having heart replacement valves, and I was going around different wards and I got speaking to people having bits of the body taken out, and people weren't looking at the trauma. Why was that caused? So it's been, as you were saying, a negative. You can't, in this work, you cannot You
No.
cannot be negative. I mean, there is always that aspect there, and
Yeah.
you will get people coming in who are very negative. And it's about educating them to recognize that if they have a great ability to create negativity, then they've got an even greater talent to create positive energy.
Mm. Now, you mentioned the shaman side of it. Now, when most people think of shamans, they think of a witch doctor type person. Now, I know that you do workshops based on shamanic practices, but can you tell us, explain a little what actual shamanism is and what you do as a shaman?
Well, I mean, other people call me a shaman, and a shaman is a seer, a shaman. They're medicine people. They're wise men and women.
Yeah.
And there's many of them. There's many people that won't be out in the circuit like me, but they're still doing that work. They're still weaving, and it's about community. It's about family. And a shaman is one who integrates their wisdom and knowledge to help the community. They need to know about themselves first and foremost. There is no point in going out there and doing any healing or any mediumship unless you know yourself inside out, back to front and forward again. And that's first and foremost in whatever tradition you look at. And of course the word shaman is actually Shaman. It comes from the Tungus Siberian tribe, and has been used as a name to describe our work. And it's very much about an integration, soul retrieval. There's many, many different aspects, and it's very ongoing. I mean, I'm 40 years into this work now, and I'm still learning every day. There's nothing scary about it. You know, yes, we drum.
Yeah.
Yes, we drum. Yes, we chant and we sing, but it's much deeper than that. It's that connection with the Great Spirit, recognizing that we're all connected as one. And that's a very big thing that a lot of people don't understand. That the animals, you know, people will have experiences with animals and working with their power animals. And that's another aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it's about connecting with the earth, connecting with ourselves, and connecting with our brothers and sisters.
Right, and Steve wants me to ask a question for you. He's here. He says, you seem to be very connected through what you have learned to Mother Earth. With this, was this a conscious choice?
What, my path in shamanism?
Yeah, and everything you basically do, it's all connected with Mother Earth.
It's all that connection. You get called. When you get called, you don't have a choice. I mean, I've got on planes with people going, well, where are you going? Well, I know I've got to go to Albuquerque, and that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
And it's about listening. Mother Earth is, 4.5 billion years old, and we're connected whether we're aware of it or not. And the energy that comes from that connection with nature is absolutely incredible. And it is a calling, it is awakening. And, you know, a lot of people who walk, especially in the shamanic path, they will have near-death experiences,
Yeah.
they'll have out-of-body experiences,
Mm-hmm.
they'll have accidents, they'll have all sorts of things. And that's what we call a shamanic death and rebirth. They might find suddenly they've got no job, everybody round about them disappears, and it really is a very big calling, and it asks you to drop everything, you know, to let go of the ego, to let go of everything and dedicate. And it's not something you pick up, oh, I'll just do that today and then I'll put it down. It's 24/7.
Yeah.
And you become aware. You have to become aware of every thought, every action, every word, every deed of what you are doing, because you understand the complexity of how we're connected with everything and everybody. And, you know, what we say will affect people, you know, so the work that I do, I don't gossip, I don't talk about people, I don't do any of those things, because you're not able to, because you know that what you give out as the old saying is, it comes back to you.
Yeah. Now, Reiki Debs is asking a question for you. She said, I'm interested in many things, shamanism being one, along with Reiki, crystals, herbs, paganism, etc., etc. Does this come from past lives? As I seem to have had many, and they are all some kind of healer so far.
Absolutely. If you look at, I remember once somebody said to me, I was at the college in London, and somebody said, oh, Barbara, I just saw this teacher, and she told me, I have to make a difference between a healer or a medium. And I said, what a load of rubbish, because you integrate it all. And what happens is that what she's saying about the crystals and the Reiki, it's all previous lifetimes from being a witch, from all those connections. And the interesting thing I always say to people when they look at their history is up until 325 AD, every single religion believed in reincarnation, believed in past lives. And then that was all changed, and Christianity, Judaism, Islam removed that philosophy out of their teachings. And then a lot of people lost that understanding and awareness that we are our memories. And so when somebody goes off to do herbal training and suddenly goes, well, this is strange, I already know this. Or they pick up a crystal and somebody starts talking about it and they go, but I already know this. Or they make a connection with spirit and go, I already know this. It's because that collective memory through all our previous lifetimes is with us. And unfortunately, because of the way that we're brought onto this earth plane, we are aware of our past lives as children. We act them out constantly. And then, of course, we're taken and we're schooled, very cleverly done. And then we move from that right-brained hemisphere, which all children have when they come onto this earth plane, the all right hemisphere, which is intuitive, imagination, insight, all of those things. And suddenly, we're taken to school, boom, we're switched, and then we're placed into that left hemisphere, which, of course, is logical, analytical. And that's why so many people get to their 40s and 50s and suddenly go, oh, my God, I've got all these things.
Yeah.
And, oh, my goodness me, and this is all happening to me, and I'm seeing fairies, and I'm seeing angels, and I have this whole awareness, and suddenly, you know, everything opens up. And sometimes it can be very intense. People say to me, oh, you might think this is weird. And I say, listen, there's nothing you're going to say to me that is weird.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes to her.
Well, she goes on to say, I was a witch. That's what came through on Barbara's workshop. I'm assuming she's on about one of yours, with a tie to my mother. And is that why I don't have a favourite? I love them all, jack of all trades kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we need to understand is that we're not restricted. We are multi-dimensional beings. We are timeless. And we need to understand right now and what's going on. You know, we're the day after the 21st. You know, this is solstice time. This is Yule. And you are that acorn. Every single one of you listening is an acorn. And that seed, if you imagine that millions of years ago, and that seed has grown into that oak tree, then that strength, that wisdom, that knowledge that lives within each and every person is there to obtain. And it's not out there in some Akashic record in the heavens. It's around you, and it's learning how to access it. And I'm no different from anyone else.
No.
You know, I came into this world, but I was fortunate that I had the spirits around me that said, it's there. And that's why I've gone out with the indigenous cultures. And I've gone to them because, again, very cleverly instigated, you know, the drink, the alcohol with the Aboriginals and Native Americans. You know, they destroyed that tribal system and way of life, which is very natural. And here we are on this wonderful Celtic land with amazing ancestors. And we have now got an opportunity that we've never had before in any past teachings or understanding is that we are the shaman within, we are the healer within, and that we've been given great gifts and they live within us.
Right, Andy707 has said that as far as he knows, there's no history of past life belief in Judaism or Islam. Is this true?
Sorry, say that again?
Right, as far as he knows, he said there is no history of past life belief in Judaism or Islam.
There is.
There is.
There is. You need to go and check your records, because I'm just writing a book on past lives at the moment.
Right, okay.
And there was, if they go back and check the records, a lot of stuff was deleted.
Right.
A lot of stuff back in 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea, and many other of these council meetings. It was taken out. If you go back into the foundations through Gnostic Christianity,
right,
and you look at that, there was those foundations in place. A dear friend of mine, David Wells, works with the Kabbalah, all teachings, every single teaching. I was speaking to Ronald Hutchison about that not long ago, and every teaching had that basis and belief.
Yeah, he believes that, of course, Christian spiritualists, it's just gone up, who believed in reincarnation, but he wasn't sure about it. He said he didn't think Judaism or Islam.
Yeah, there was.
Right.
There was. I mean, I was speaking to David because I was absolutely fascinated. I wanted to know why. My question was why we were stopped from believing in, and why was it that there was this great plan put in place? I mean, it's another book I'm writing about called The Hidden Truth.
Yeah.
But what was it? It wasn't because they were afraid of, because they didn't think we knew. It's because they knew that we knew. When I say we, because I talk about a collective consciousness.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about my previous lifetimes and having a knowledge of this and remembering. It's because if every single person, you can imagine, you know, I'm aware of my previous lifetimes, I'm aware of who I've been through all my past lives.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the rest of humanity waking up to that one?
Yeah. This is it. Now, you've visited many places around the world and experienced all sorts of different spiritual traditions.
Yeah.
But where would you say you feel is your spiritual home?
I have to say, and it's interesting, planet Earth, I mean, Native American culture. I've worked with Ed McGall, Eagle Man, who was my first Makota teacher over 30 years ago. I'm very much at home when I go into the Native American traditions. I'm also very at home when I go to Egypt. I've been going there for over 25 years now. But again, I'm at home when I go into Turkey. I'm most at home, I have to say, if I'm round sacred sites.
Yeah.
If I'm on, you know, South America. I have travelled to just about every corner of this planet. And I have to say, I sort of went out there searching for answers that ultimately, when I came back onto my own homeland, I found them on my homeland, right in Buxton, with the goddess Arnemisha, who came to me. So it's really interesting how we go out and we do seek from other cultures. But where's my home? Right in my heart center. Right, it sits right there. And so I feel at home wherever I travel.
Right. Now, as I said before, you've got so many bows to your arrow, if that's the right word, arrows to your bow. Strings to your bow, that's the word. No wonder she's laughing at me. Right, you're a seer, you're a shaman, you're a medium, which I know you're a medium. You're a high priestess. Now, healer, singer, drummer, as we said, dancer and storyteller, amongst others. On your website, it says that you are a high priestess of Isis.
Yeah.
Obviously, there must be a strong connection between you and Egypt, as you're very much into the ancient Egypt religion. You know, so why do you think this is so?
Well, my first connection was when I was, I would say about 4 to 5. I had two memories that I came into this lifetime, predominant memories, which I've gone to the places and discovered. And one of them was, I remember, as a little girl, I remember dancing through this temple.
Yeah.
With very tall pillars. And when I went to Luxor, I walked into the hypostalic hall and went, oh my God, this is it. And I was on a tour, just a normal tour, and I started walking, and the Egyptologist says, where are you going? I said, well, I'm just going over to that temple. Well, how do you know about that temple over there? And of course, it ended up, I started speaking to some of the inspectors there, and so I've been out there, I've been, especially in Karnak, you know, I remember that I was able to take a couple of Egyptologists over to sites that they didn't know existed in the Karnak complex over to the Temple of Mut. And then I started working with Salah, who has opened up the Roman baths at Karnak, which are at the front. And I remember being there one time and saying, look, when you move those houses, his body is underneath there and you need to be careful. So it's having that knowing. So Egypt to me, when I was 15, I was initiated into the Gardenian traditions. And so Isis was always around me. I was always aware of that Egyptian connection. And I was always seeing the symbols, the signs. I mean, if you came into my house, I have a room that's just a room of Egyptian statues and papyrus. So it calls me all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, even the last couple of weeks, Egypt's really been calling me, and I can't get a flight to Luxor at the moment. There is no flight.
Oh, God.
And the thing is, when it calls you, it drives you haughty, basically, because it's such this calling. It's you cannot explain it, but it's at such a soul level. The land, and when you get to the land, you feel the ancestors, and it's incredible.
Steve wants to ask you a question.
Yeah, I was wondering how it went when you spent December the 21st in the in the main temple.
So I heard about the 21st of December.
He said he wondered how it went when you spent the December the 21st in the main temple.
Oh, you mean last year for the... Yeah, oh, that was... mind-blowing is the only word, and if you asked any others who were with us, absolutely incredible. We went to Saqqara, to the Seraphinium, which hasn't been opened for years. And we went in there. It's called the Temple of the Bulls, and these sarcophaguses are made of granite, and they are ginormous. And there was about 20 of us in there, and we were allowed to go into one of the sarcophaguses, and we were filming all these orbs. We got pictures of all these orbs, but the interesting thing was that when we went in, they were just flying past the camera. We were actually videoing it.
God.
And it was absolutely profound. And then, of course, we went to the Great Pyramid, and we did drumming in there. And at one point, I can't say what part we're in the Great Pyramid, because it's an ongoing research and white paper that we're doing at the moment. However, in one place in particular, I was using my drum, and one of the people was actually getting levitated up the wall. And I'm working with a sound engineer and scientist on this at the moment. And that side of things, my brain just goes, duh. However, when he shows me something, I can say, oh, that's that, or that's the Earth's magnetic field, or that's that resonance. And I see it in pictures.
Yeah.
And so between the two of us, the findings, there's sounds in there that shouldn't be in there. They're not physically possible. And we've recorded it, and we've used the sound with some people, and it just blows them away. And what we're working with just now is we're going to be releasing a CD, which people have been pestering us for ages. But the tone, the frequency has to be right, because some of the sounds, when we've listened back to them, just makes you feel like your whole body's You've ever seen that film where the body sort of disintegrates and it goes into little pieces? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
We're working with something really, really profound. And I always remember when they're putting the robot into the Great Pyramids and they were trying to break the seals, I was going, don't do that, whatever you do. So there's a lot of there's so much stuff.
Do you think there's still a lot to be discovered in Egypt? Maybe even the Great Library?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you look at I'm kind of like an amateur archaeologist and egyptologist, in so much that now they've got Google Maps. What they've discovered under those oceans and that is profound. And the thing is, at the moment, there's a lot of archaeologists out there who are really putting their neck on the line, because at the moment it's rewriting. What the evidence that's been brought to light will change our planet's history as a whole. And so at the moment, I really feel we're living in exciting times, because the boundaries have been pushed out. The history books, I mean, the history books at school are so ancient and so old to what is going on. And if people are curious, they need to get out there, go and see places like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. And you stand there and you go, geez, that's not from this planet.
Yeah.
And, you really have to get out there. And it is that forbidden archaeology. You've got to research it. And I say to people, get out of the books and just get out there, speak to the people. There's a lot of archaeologists, there's a lot of scientists, there's a lot of people, cutting edge technology that are things being discovered every day now. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. Now you're based in Buxton in Derbyshire.
That's
where you have your own shop.
I do.
And for various reasons, I'm not going to offend you by trying to pronounce it. So, can you tell us the reason for choosing Buxton, the name of your shop so our listeners know, and a little about it?
I didn't have a choice, really. About over 10 years ago, 10 more than that now, I met a gentleman in Manchester. I was living up in Scotland, and he became my boyfriend. He said, I need to move down. I said, love to. And he said, well, here's a map of Manchester. Where do you want to go? And my finger landed on Solomon's Temple in Buxton. Came here, got guided to this house, went to the house, chap opened the door, and he went, oh, hello, Barbara, I've got one of your drums. I walked out into the back, onto the back land, suddenly saw this goddess appearing to me, saying, I am the goddess of the water and the grove, and I'm going, okay. And the next, I think 2 days later, I went off to Canada, was in William Hills. This book fell off the shop, open, called Sacred Sites of Great Britain, open at Aqua Artemisia, and this was the story all about Aqua Artemisia, who is the goddess of the water and the grove of this land, because everybody knows Buxton water. And so began a journey about discovering about her and the lands. We discovered on the lands medieval village that was there on the lands, and her temple as well. Yeah. And of course the Romans came to Buxton in AD 70, and of course they gave her a name, but they were already honouring her, and there was a sacred grove. Of course the water's still there today, the temples were there, and the next thing I knew, I was opening a shop honouring Artemisia, honouring these lands. And fascinating thing about it, we have the shop open all the time at the moment because I'm here. Yeah. About 4 to 5 people a week are coming in and saying, we've just moved to Buxton, we've just moved to Buxton. Really? And it's the highest market town, and it's so old. A lot of it is hidden. The shop is actually on Roman foundations. Right. So we're living in a very ancient land. You know, we have the Vikings came down here. You know, we have so much history. Yeah. Up in, and I came here because it reminds me of the Highlands of Scotland. Yeah, I bet it does. Yeah. So, and you have another book out entitled "The Shaman Within: Reclaiming Our Rites of Passage." I did put the link for it on our show page on Facebook. Okay. But can you tell us a little about that, Barbara? Well, The Shaman Within was the sort of sequel to my first one, The Heart of All Knowing, Swain told me I had to do 32 years of oral traditional work before I could start writing, which I was glad about, being dyslexic, because it absolutely petrified me about having to write.
Yeah.
And then in 2007 I started writing, and the second one, The Shaman Within, is about the rites of passage from birth to death and what is missing in our life. I mean, you know, before, if we were part of a tribal system, we'd have been introduced into the tribe. The medicine woman, the medicine man would have gifted us a spirit name. They would have gifted us, they would have watched us growing up, and then we'd have gone through these rites of passage with nature, with the land, with the people, with the tribe. Nowadays, those rites of passage are missing out of our lives, and people wander around feeling an emptiness in their heart. So what I wrote about was my journey in America, meeting the Native American people, how I was guided. And then it goes chapter 1, it starts at Yule, which is now, through the vision quest, the naming ceremonies, and goes right through to chapter 8, which is totality.
Yeah.
And it's about how, you know, a lot of traditions through the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, talk about once you pass over, then you do that. But what Spirit guided me to say was, you know, don't leave it till then.
Yeah.
This is very much about preparing ourselves. So if I was to die right now, me as a person, I could say I've no shame, no blame. I could take my heart, put it on the scales of justice with the feather of Mat, and know that I have healed and done everything possibly that I could do. I'm at peace with myself, and I don't have any shame or blame or guilt or doubt or any of those things. It's taken me 57 years to get there, but it's a good feeling, and that's why I'm always in that feeling of positivity.
Yeah.
Because I know that there is something far greater out for each and every person. And I just say to everybody, just trust what you feel.
Yeah.
Trust what you sense. And I always apply everything. I have a thing that I say to people, in anything that anyone that's listening out there at this moment in time, all they have to say is, whether it's work or relationships, whatever it may be, does this serve my highest purpose? And if it doesn't, then thank it and let it go.
Yeah. Right. And in all you do, what gives it the most pleasure to you?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. A woman after my own heart. Oh dear.
Waking people up, actually.
Yeah.
Waking people up.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the joy on people's face when they pick up the drum for the first time and beat it.
Yeah.
Seeing people realizing that they no longer need to be the victim, that they're not controlled by karma or fate, which is put in place to control people, that they have a destiny, that they can drive that destiny forward, that they are amazing, that they are incredible, and that they are unique. That's what floats my boat when I see the lights turning on, and people getting it and realizing that they are absolutely beautiful, and that's it. Along with a piece of chocolate.
Well, Rebecca Debs has just said, if you ever buy a drum, I highly recommend you buy one of hers. Not hers, yours.
Well, they've got soul. They have, and say thank you. They've got soul, and you know, I've never sold a drum in my life. I just stand there and go, okay. Some jump off the walls at people. That's happened before. I had one fall off a stand in London and hit somebody on the head, and they got it. And you know, and it is a delight, whether it's a flute or sage or a clothing, as we do, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
it's the passion and the drum. Boy, the drum's been one of my greatest teachers, along with my ex-husband. I'm only
Yeah,
I remember
Deb's has only just purchased one.
she's only just purchased one apparently.
oh,
But I remember when we was at Derby, and at the end of the day, you weren't planning on doing anything, but you just done this impromptu singing, and
oh yeah.
and it was such a nice way to end the day. It was beautiful. You and Flavia,
That's right.
and it was really, really good. But she's just going on about your drum. She said, I think Lee will be getting one at the Derby Roundhouse. Hubby let me have it yesterday. Oh, he got it for her and gave it to her yesterday.
Oh,
So,
fantastic.
but
yes, I remember.
yeah. So, with everything you do, how do you get time for you, Barbara? Do you meditate at all? Do you get some me time?
Well, meditation, and I think this is where a lot of people.
Oh, you still
Hello?
there? It's all right. I hit the button.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. You?
Yes. So you've
Go
fallen
on.
off the
Sorry.
planet then. Meditation, people tend to feel that they have to sit there. I'm in meditation all the time, whether it's walking, whatever I may be doing, as I was going on about the contemplation. The answer is yes, I'm a lot better. Everybody will be pleased to know I am so much better, and I have to thank my sister Flavia for that.
Yeah.
Because Flavia's taught me to slow down, and I'm a lot more at peace these days thanks to her and what she does. And I do take time out. I even take days off.
Mm-hmm.
I love having steams and massages. Next year I'm going back to do my archery. I love archery. I never stop. I was even thinking today, I must get another Harley. I used to have a Harley Davidson.
Oh my God.
Oh yes, I'm a wild child. Never stops me. And so no, and we're going off soon. We're off to the Far East, going to Kathmandu and into Nepal and Tibet, and then travelling around designing clothes. But we'll be going on elephant safaris, going and lying down beside lions and tigers, going, oh my goodness me, playing with snakes, and yeah. So my hobby is life.
Yeah. So, but I've just got to go back to something that Andy said. Another religion which does not talk about reincarnation is Buddhism. He's having trouble finding stuff when it comes to stuff like that. So
He's actually the Ashnova who do believe in it.
the Ashnova or something who do believe.
I think that's how you pronounce it, isn't it?
Yeah, Vyashnava or something.
Yeah.
He's into that.
I mean,
that's his thing.
That's what he's into.
If you know, again, that's a discovery. You have to dig deep, and you have to. It's not so much what's out there; it's what's not out there. You need to be looking for.
Right.
And it is out there, and that hidden truth is out there, and it's to be discovered. And you really have to. There's a lot of scholars and a lot of philosophers. I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of friends who are in this field, and you know, we talk a lot about this and all the things that have been hidden for us for a very good reason.
Yeah.
And a lot of that documentation, you know, it wasn't by chance that they burnt down the Library of Alexandria, because it held so much of that knowledge and that truth that was in there.
Yeah.
You know, that was cleverly designed.
Yeah.
The Council of Nicaea, you know, tell him to go digging in about the Council of Nicaea, and he'll unearth quite a few interesting facts from there.
Right, okay. So you say you've got another book coming out, or you're working on next year. What else is there for Barbara Meiklejohn-Free?
Working on Sacred Site cards, which has been a 7-year project of travelling around the planet, going to sacred sites. I go there and I get the information, and then I find out about it. A lot of other people do it the other way around. And these cards are gateway portal cards to past lives, and there's nothing else like it out there. So middle of doing that. I'm going to be doing a book on past lives.
Yeah.
Which will be a very much hands-on experience, and then helping everybody to understand everything, you know, their fears, their pains, things that, you know, when we go to a place and we suddenly have deja vu, is actually because we've been there before.
Yeah.
So it's one of the most in-depth books you'll get on past lives to be written. Book of Destiny, which is an oracle book, which is just being finished in the next 2 weeks. I'm doing the Shaman's Handbook of Sacred Tools and Ceremonies. That's going to be coming out. I'm also doing with Yuri Lech, who's a great artist who did the cards and the front cover of my book. We're doing a Shaman Oracle deck as well. So, no, they've got me busy, Suzanne, up until, you know, when I pass over 89 years old. They're not, yes, I even know when I'm going to go. So, they're keeping me very busy and very occupied.
Good.
And it's great. I love it. And CDs, more CDs. We're working on a tree meditation CDs at the moment as well. So there's, you know, I do sleep, I do eat chocolate.
I'll just put your website on the chat room for everyone to go and have a look at, and you've also got a shop on there as well, haven't you?
That's right.
So they can contact you there. Any questions and if they need to buy a drum or anything like that, it's all there. Yeah. So you know,
she does some lovely clothes there as well.
She does do some lovely clothes. Do you sell them in the shop as well?
Oh, the shop. Can I say where the shop is?
Yes.
It's 6 Market Street in Buxton. Market Street being the street that led into the marketplace, where of course all the temples were. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's full up with clothes, and that's where I'm going in January and February to design the next one. And any gentlemen that are listening, yes, I haven't forgotten to try and get some. I'm always getting asked on that one as well. All the goddess clothing, and the guys are saying, why haven't you made anything for the men? So.
Right, okay. And that's what is what the show is all about. Advertising yourself, what you do, and what you believe in and everything. So that's what we're here for. So anything you need to advertise, it's not a problem. So just on a personal level, even though most of your spiritual stuff is a personal thing to you, but on a more personal level, regarding your cancer, is that all sorted?
Yes, it is.
Right. Okay.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that's all right then. So
no, I'm a lot better now.
Thank
you very much. I still get tired.
Yeah.
And I do struggle with that one quite a bit, but I'm a lot better now, and yes, I'm looking forward to I've sort of taken out a contract. Hopefully, well, yes, it's going to be with a contract with a book publishing company, so it will allow me more time to rest and to write.
Yeah.
But I'll still be out there. Flavia and I will be out there drumming and singing and doing our work and pushing people off the edge of cliffs.
Well, I hope to see you at the next MBS. So just before you go, Reiki Debs has asked, are you getting any evil eye jewellery? She loved your ring that you had on at Sheffield.
Well, I'll just have to go back to Turkey for that one. So
yeah, I think you will.
That's where I get all the jewellery from. Don't even think I've got any left. Well, watch this space. I'll just have to find some time out to go over there. And yes, that's why I started my business, travelling around and wearing clothes. And people say, I love that. So I designed that. Oh, I love that jewellery. So watch this space.
Well, she said she definitely would have one. So.
Sorry?
She said she definitely would have one if you get one.
What, a ring?
Yep, like yours. Okay, so you've got to sell it. Got one sold there if you ever get one.
I'll remember that. I just need to take her finger with me.
Yes, definitely. Well, Barbara, I'd like to thank you again for taking time out for us. It's been a pleasure having you on the show at last.
Oh, it's been lovely talking to you.
I hope it won't be the last time you come on. Hopefully we'll speak to you again in the new year sometime in 2014.
Sounds good to me.
You know, please give our love to Flavia, and if she ever wants to come on and talk about her fairies, that's not a problem, or anything else she does. And I want to, from me and Steve, we'd like to, and everyone in the chat room, we'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy 2014.
And to everybody listening, you know, it's time for everybody to create their own destiny. So get out there and bang your drums and sing your songs and go dance underneath the moonlight. It's great.
Can I just ask one last question? There's a lot of people out there, me and my husband included, that are missing people over this time of year.
Yeah.
Some of them that quite recently have lost people. What would you say when it comes to this time of year and missing people?
I'm in the same situation, and I would say hold on to those memories. Never, you know, I always say to people, have an altar for the ancestors. You know, the people that we love. You know, I'm surrounded at the moment in the room I'm sitting in, is just surrounded by all my pictures. I'm in my office with all my pictures of all my loved ones, all the people that have meant and been a part of my life.
Yeah.
And one thing Spirit said to me the other day, if you don't have pictures, if you don't think of us, then we're a distant memory. So the more you think about them, the more you talk to them, the more you look at the pictures, you keep that spirit burning alive.
Right.
And that's what they ask for.
Yeah.
Just remember us when you wake up in the morning. Remember us when you go to bed at night. Come and talk to us in the dream time, because that's the time when they can talk, when they can visit us, and realize that when we come in the dream time, that is very real. And so just honor them, light a candle for them, you know, and they say they miss their food most of all.
Well, thanks again, Barbara. Go and get some chocolate.
Oh no, I've had my chocolate for tonight. No, they were talking about they missed their food when they were on the airplane.
Yeah.
They missed the food. So they just, you know, when you go and have a piece of turkey, or when you go and have whatever you're having, or a mince pie, or a drop of brandy, or whatever their favourite, have their favourite tipple and toast them and say, thank you for being in my life.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me those great memories.
Okay.
And just tell them you love them.
Well, thanks very much. That's a lovely way to end this interview. And again, please don't be a stranger, and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, and lots of love to you all.
Thank
Take
you.
care and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Good night, babe.
Good night. Bye. Bye.
Well, that was Barbara Meiklejohn-Free. Great interview. Lovely lady. And caused controversy in the chat room with Andy. Do you want your book back, darling? So, but as I say, so Reiki Dev says, lovely, inspiring lady. Thank you for coming on, Barbara. So she's a beautiful, lovely lady. Her and Flavia, we always see them, don't we?
Says Andy.
We always see them at the Mind, Body and Spirit shows, don't we? And very, very friendly, and that. So, but yeah. One lady that I've always wanted to get on to talk about shamanism and stuff like that. You know, okay, we've done past life regression and everything else. Certainly, I don't like when people think theories abstract. Her favourite are real. You know, it is a bit of I suppose at the end of the day, it's what people believe, isn't it? Really.
It is. I mean, by all accounts, she's doing a lot of research for a book. And that's what she's finding.
You know,
where she's finding it,
I don't know.
She didn't specify.
She says she's been talking to David Wells. Now I don't know whether that's the David Wells, as in I was going to ask, but I forgot. But because I know that he is part of the Kabbalah and all that lot, isn't
Yeah,
he?
David is, yeah.
So Andy said he was going to phone in, but he thought it was a bad idea. So, but no, it was a really good interview, I must admit, and it was nice that she was very open with us about her early life,
Yes.
about the rape and everything, But like she says, it's all part and parcel to the training, the learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
Deb said it is the David Welch. Don't worry.
all right.
Which is
So,
good.
but you know what I mean? It's all down to the learning curve and everything. You have to go through these trials and tribulations. And like she said, she sounded a bit like a Samaritan does. They have to go through, certain stages in your life to be able to turn around and say, yes, I understand, sort of
Well,
thing.
if you haven't been through it,
Kabbalah
and he
is
just said the
Jewish.
Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, not mainstream faith.
Right, okay.
Like I said, there's lots of parts come off these other little cut off.
Well, this is it. This is the trouble. This is what I've always said about this subject. Whatever it is, it's all to do with spirit, which is partly paranormal, and it all comes off with religion and something else, and theories, and blah 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 blah. And I don't care what anyone says. Cryptozoology sometimes does cross over. You know what I mean? Got the dogs bloody barking. Puppies barking. But Skype is not working. Hold on a minute. Hang up a minute. There you go. Are you trying to call me?
I'm going to leave you for a second and I'm going to go and put them dogs out.
Yeah, go and put the dogs out. Are you trying to call me, Andy? So, you'll have to ring me on the phone then. So, mind you, I was on there hiding. So, but if you want to call, it says I'm away, but I'm not. Or you can call me on the landline. Yes. My end. Okay. Yeah, yours isn't working. I'm not even seeing you online. So, 0844 414 3982. Give us a call and tell us what you think. So, and while you're doing that, 0844 414 3982. Okay. So I'm sure Andy will be new laptop. Okay. So I'll just wait for you to call while I play this. So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events available now. ParanormalEventsForYou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. ParanormalEventsForYou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Yeah, and if you want to check out the ParanormalEventsForYou.com to see what's coming up next year, just go to ParanormalEventsForYou.com and find out what's going on. And if you are a part of a group, you can always advertise on there. So, night, Debs. Okay. Good evening, Andy. 2 seconds. There you go. Now speak to me.
Go turn you up.
Hello.
Is that better?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Oh, good. Thank God for that. I'm sorry, but I've never tuned out of your show before, ever. Really getting on my nerves. I'm sorry, you can't put basically extremist mystical views out as if they're part of the mainstream faith. They're not. I generally rang my friend Alicia up. She's a doctorate in religion, for God's sake. If anyone knows, she does, and she's a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You can basically find proof of anything in any faith if you look hard enough.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the mainstream belief systems, no, there's none. Not in Judaism at all, nor in Islam. Only the kind of mystic Sufi stuff is influenced by Indian culture.
May I just say, though, you only tuned out to double check with your friend.
Say that again? No, I was, I didn't tune out. I just sort of turned it down. And then I phoned Alicia just to make sure I wasn't...
I must admit, when she did start talking about orbs, I am at, the jury's out on that with me.
That was the last straw episode, and bloody orbs.
Well, considering where she was,
considering where she was, there was dust
a lot of it's dust.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I'm sure her and I had a conversation about orbs when she came on the London Paranormal Society event and saying, "Oh no, they're mainly just dust and the like." But I'm sure I had that conversation with her, so I'm surprised she kind of changed her mind a bit. But no, it's just you can, as I say, you can find variations of any faith, but when you talk about the real mainstream faith, then no. I mean, she talked about the Nicaea deal in 346 AD. Yeah, that happened. That was all about Christianity.
Yeah.
That didn't then decide what was going to be in Judaism, and certainly not decide what was going to be in Islam. And Islam has no place of interest in the idea of reincarnations, nor does Judaism. Christianity, again, on the extreme edges of spiritual churches, yeah. Islamic Sufis, yeah, because they're influenced by India. Extreme forms of the Kabbalah, yeah, because it's extreme forms of the Kabbalah. You know, it's not the mainstream faith. It's just not lunatic fringe, but you know what I'm saying. It's on the edge slightly. And then to present as if it's like clear-cut fact that she's discovered. Well, if she's discovered that evidence, then she'll end up being quite famous because that'll be revolutionary evidence because it ain't out there. And you can find extremists. You can find sort of little bits of text here and there. I mean, there was one thing I was going to post up on there, but I did not do it. It's like, this is an article actually online, and I've lost it, and I can't really find it now, but it's basically saying if you can find evidence in mainstream Torah text saying that there's reincarnation, it'd be like finding a recipe for pork chops in a kosher cookbook. You know, it's just not going to happen. It just doesn't happen. You know, it just isn't the case. There are those who are on the fringe who have those belief systems, but it's not part of the mainstream faith. And just to present it as if all faiths have always had that, nonsense. You know, as I said, in Buddhism, okay, I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of texts about reincarnation in Buddhism, but if you go back to Sakyamuni Buddha, the actual Buddha himself, he deliberately doesn't say anything about reincarnation. He says he's concerned with this life and bringing us to enlightenment in this life. He never talks about reincarnation, ever. Not once. But there's plenty of texts written by other people in sort of Buddhism, sort of canon of text, but Buddha itself, no, never said a word. I think quite deliberately didn't say a word about it.
Yeah.
Well, yes, there you go.
Sorry, Andy, we're not laughing at you. It's something that
Tigger's just put on.
So I'm sorry, you're a bit distorted.
I said, did you see what Tigger's just put on?
No, I'm walking around the room.
Oh, right, okay. So, it's alright, Steve was laughing what he said. Islam doesn't need reincarnation when they've got virgins to look forward to.
Exactly. I mean, okay, he's making actually a good point. That's what the Quran will tell you. That's what the Imams will tell you, that you go to heaven.
Yeah.
Spend eternity in heaven until, well, forever, with those land of milk and honey, rivers flowing with milk and 1,000 virgins at your beck and call. That's what they believe, absolutely. Well, the extremists again believe that, but they do not believe in any kind of reincarnation. As Mandy's dad used to say, let's make a comeback. So.
Well, I must admit, I did recently see on TV, it was a silly film, but it was about Sikhs, wasn't it? There was Indians or something, and she killed somebody or something, and she said nobody comes back. It was a comedy thing. I can't remember what it was, but you know, do you remember seeing it?
No, I don't think I did.
You mean the Indian lady? That was
the Indian lady who kept killing people.
And all the ghosts was there, but they couldn't move on until she admitted it. She
admitted it or something. But the thing was, she was saying that reincarnation doesn't happen, and then this, it was a parody thing. But but I must admit, I have heard that Indians and people like that don't believe in that sort of stuff.
There are branches.
When you go, sort of thing,
Yeah, there are definitely branches of Indians. I mean, another good example that I forgot about, Sikhism. Sikhism is a combination, essentially, of aspects of Islam and aspects of Hinduism.
Yeah.
But they specifically said they don't have reincarnation. It's not
but then again, though, saying that, my theory is, I'm going to throw this at you, see if you'll catch it. Right? My theory is, for God's sake, we can't just be on this earth and die and that's it, surely.
I know, I would agree with you there.
And we believe in it. Christianity's believe in it, yeah. Most other religions believe in it. Then why...
All religions believe you go somewhere else.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, Why,
That's the fundamental difference between the two kinds of faith. You've got what we have, the Semitic faith over here, if you like, and Judaism, Islam, Christianity, the belief you only live once and you wait in Christianity's case for the resurrected. In Judaism's case, the return of David. You wait for these things. You know, we are supposed to resurrect.
Are we saying though, Andy, it is a religious thing? If you believe that much in reincarnation, it will happen. Is it a belief system?
I think it's part of belief systems that have been around. It's an idea that really originates in India. That's sort of the Hindu culture. And so it's not just a thing of Hinduism, that's another long story. But in sort of Middle Asian culture, it originates from there. I mean, it only started to pop up in Christianity, apart from what Meiklejohn might be saying. It only popped up in the 1800s with the influence of the Theosophical Society coming from India, you know, where British missionaries have gone out and were learning new things about Indian culture, including the idea of reincarnation. And that's when you start to see the spiritual churches emerge who had the belief in reincarnation within their churches. I mean, that fundamental problem we talked about before about if there's reincarnation, how do you have ghosts? You know, it's kind of a bit of a difficult one there, but that was another thing.
It's like we hear stories about children.
I mean, there's so many things that come forward where they say you choose to reincarnate rather than stay where you are.
Well, you see, I think Meiklejohn actually hit on part of that, which I think is the case, the collective unconscious, that the memories of events of the past are stored in there. And that you can, at the deepest level of awareness, unconscious awareness, access those. Therefore, I do think there is a form of reincarnation in the sense that those memories still exist.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, if you look at within Hinduism, for example, which is the origin of the idea of reincarnation, there are different variations and versions. One form says that there's just this pure spirit called the Atman. It's the only thing that reincarnates, like essential energy within. Whereas at other extremes, they say that whole people are reincarnated, like in Tibetan Buddhism, where you have the Dalai Lama being the direct reincarnation of a previous Lama.
Yeah.
And that's a whole body reincarnation, as opposed to just the pure Atman spirit in other branches of Hinduism. So it's even within the origins of the idea of reincarnation are completely different versions of what reincarnation actually is. And to come out rather blasé and say, well, it's this, that's it. I thought, no, you can't do that, you know.
No.
I'll be buying. I mean, she's trying to sell a book, she's done a good job, so I'll be buying it.
But like I said, when we was talking to Jackie last week, we were talking about, you know, people dying and stuff like that. I remember a story of a young lad who told his mother about his other mother and this, that, and the other. And
when he was just
when he was a child, you know.
I've had clients myself who've had exactly that kind of experience. I had one guy came to me quite early on who his father had died years ago, but his mum was still alive. But yeah, he was having this memory in hypnosis of being on a Caribbean island and visiting his parents' grave who died of the shipwreck. You know, telling me this is in a normal therapy session.
Now you've done past life regression, so.
Say again?
You've done past life regression.
I don't if people ask for it. I'm not sure I necessarily believe it works, but I do if people ask for it, certainly. I mean,
so what do you think when these people... Because I must admit, somebody said to me he had his past life done, and within less than half hour, he reckoned that he'd got to 40 people, and he was still going. Now
he reckoned he had 702 past lives.
702 past lives. Now, what is this past life thing? You know what I mean? People say, "Oh, I've come back as something else." You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you go into Hinduism belief again, you can have 84 million past lives, and then you run out of past lives. Again, you don't know. I do lean towards the concept of the collective unconscious, that this is information that is in the collective unconscious, that it's kind of a whirlpool of knowledge that we all share, including individual events and memories. So it's a past life, not necessarily your past life that you're remembering. You're tapping into something. Now, I'll do past life regression if people want to. I'm not sure I believe in individual past lives. I do think it's a collective past life that we connect into.
Yeah, so when you did that past life regression on John, now we missed that because we had problems with the sound at your end and everything. Now, how does that work? Is it a bit like I've seen stuff on TV where the hypnotist would turn around and say, "Right, I'm taking you back. You're now 5. You're now this. You're now that. Where are you now?" You know, and they've taken right back to before they were born. And now, is that similar to past life regression?
Well, you see, that's the problem. You wouldn't get a decent hypnotherapist suggesting you are this, you are that, you're anything. A good one will just take you back in terms of using what they call the scripts to relax you down, and then it's free and open, whatever comes up.
Right.
You wouldn't direct them to try and think of anything. I mean, one thing with John on that picture is I think what we're picking up is coming from the picture. I think there's so much energy, shall we say, that's come from the artist into that picture.
Yeah.
It kind of fits in, and there's a post on it's somewhere on John's forum for Mysteria Paranormal about someone talking about gas masks imagery coming through from that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the talk John and I did with you guys about what happened, he was talking about World War II stuff, concentration camp stuff. It kind of sort of fits together. So I wonder if it's something to do with the picture itself that emanated those memories, rather than anything to do with John personally.
Mm.
Well, none of us, no one really knows. I mean, I'm not going to say I know these things to be the case, but I can tell you the negatives. I know is not not the case of reincarnation with Semitic religions.
Right.
Our religion, essentially, there is just nothing there apart from the fringes.
Yeah.
But mainstream belief is a different matter.
But as I say, I know hypnotism on TV is, different. But and I'm just going on this particular program. I remember years ago where they had to take them back to when they were younger to get over what they were getting over. But they were saying, "I've taken you back to the age of 10. What happened? I'm taking you back to the age of 5. What happened?" You know.
I do. That's how I work. That's called hypnoanalysis. So you don't do specifically go out of date, like what age. You just take them back to a childhood. You talk them back to, remember, your mind's taking you back to when you were younger, back to just a child. You remember, and then let them say whatever they think, whatever comes to them. You don't guide them at all, other than just.
No, and I have actually seen it where they've gone back and then gone back to before they were born, and it's like, whoa. And I must admit, I know I'm talking about a film. You know what I mean? But could it be possible?
Well, I don't know. Again, I don't know where that's coming from. Now, I can only say for definite you can take him back to very early, but only this life. Beyond that, it's speculation and conjecture as to what's going on, whether it's imagination, whether it's real, the personal reincarnation, whether it's a general active of a collective unconscious. It's conjecture. There's no way of proving any of that. But when you say a client to like their own childhood memories, and then they can go off and speak to a parent and confirm these things happened, then you can do that because it's this life. But beyond that, it becomes pure speculation then. But I mean, I don't do past life regression per se. Well, I don't do it at all. And of course, I've left the profession completely. But if people ask me, I mean, I know scripts to use for those who induce past life memories, but whether they're real or their imagination, I don't know. No, I wouldn't want to say.
Yeah,
I would speak to what I can speak of, and I don't try and put forward definitive ideas about things I can't prove or just think of my own theories. And that's what I was a bit concerned with what's happening earlier on was a person was putting forward theories and conjectures if they were absolute fact. And as a teacher, as you guys know I'm trained to be, that gets my back up when people are saying things that aren't provable as if they're definitive facts.
Yeah, Steve wants to ask a question.
I do remember reading something where they did what Sue was saying, and they took them back to before they were born, and they did actually come through with a lot of information that could have been that was proven.
Oh yeah, no, again,
to have actually happened, but also they come back with stuff they couldn't prove, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, that's no problem at all. The idea that people might be access to events and memories that are previous to their own existence, but I'm saying I'm not sure that they're their own personal memories.
Yeah.
I'll give you a very good example, one that I talked about when I trained as a hypnotherapist. But the guy that trained me, he had a client a few years back who basically suddenly went into a past life of being in ancient Greece, living in a small village in ancient Greece, and there was a war happening.
Yeah.
The army in general was stationed in his village. And back in the days of ancient Greece, the idea of sex with a young boy was quite normal. It was all seen as that was recreation, it was fun. So he was presented to the general of the army, and that was seen as a real honour for this village lad to present to the general for the night. That was one of the early sessions this guy had with me, like trained me. As it worked more and more with this guy, it became more and more clear he was abused as a child by his uncle. And how his subconscious had dealt with the experience of the childhood abuse was turning into this notion of a past life. It wasn't consciously done. He didn't decide to wake up all night and pretend it was just a past life. It was how his unconscious dealt with the experience, how negative the experience was to him, and how he was able to incorporate into his understanding about his world around him was by it becoming a past life experience. So sometimes that can happen where we can't deal with a traumatic experience that we've actually had, and we're turning into like a fantasy notion of it instead of the reality of it.
Right.
Hello? Oh, yeah, sorry, we're very quiet.
No, it's all right. I was
No,
listening.
we're listening to you, mate.
I've got a guest on the phone, so I'm listening to him.
Yeah, right, fair enough. But no, I just think it's important that if you know something to be absolutely provable fact, fair enough. But when it's only conjecture, it does concern me that people are then putting conjecture across as if it's absolutely true. Anyway, I'm going to go away now and put my head down the toilet for a while. Rain off.
Well, thank you for that anyway, and have a nice Christmas, Andy.
You too, guys.
I'll speak to you again soon.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, mate.
Right, so that was Andy giving these 2 penneth. So, but this is it. This is what it's all about, isn't it? It's a case of listening to what people have got to say. And
I mean, so if you think about it, they're both kind of right, but it's what Barbara was coming from. It wasn't the mainstream.
Yeah,
It was the
like I said, rant over. We like his rants.
no,
right.
rants okay every now and again.
Yeah. So, well, I think it's about time we let you know.
Coming soon.
Yeah, next week we've got a young lady coming on by the name of Karen Vance Hammond, and along with her colleague Kimberly Broylette, I think that's how you spell it. They've written a book called Secrets in the Shallows. It says it's a well-written mystery with vivid descriptions that keeps you turning the pages. Karen and Kimberly have written a winner, they say. You can't put it down. And somebody said they couldn't put the book down. This gripping murder mystery is a cleverly woven tapestry with all the right threads.
So is it a book of fiction?
Yeah, it's a book of fiction, but it's got quite a bit.
It's got a fair bit of paranormal stuff in it.
Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, as I say, it's a mysterious book that they've written, and they're going to come on and talk about it.
And he says you're making these names up.
I am making these names up. So they contacted me and they said about it. They've also written another book called Shoe Marks, which is a spiritual book, ghostly book. So we might incorporate that as well with them. So but that's a ghostly book. But these are all ghostly books. It's just something for Christmas. So, and as I say...
Yeah, you might have people interested in having a read.
Yes. So, it's just something for us to talk about next week. And as I say, in the new year, on the 6th of January, we have...
Go on, baby. We can get it.
Amy Vickers.
Amy Vickers.
Yeah. And then the week after that, we've got Uri Geller.
Ah, Mr. Geller.
Mr. Geller. So,
and when we've got Andy on, he's not until February, is he?
No, he's not until February. I'm waiting for dates, just to let you know. I'm waiting for dates from Wade Davis.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I've been waiting for getting him for ages. We're going to be talking to him about zombies.
That's a zombie and the voodoo guy.
Yeah, now don't get all aerated. We're not talking zombies, as in these creatures that come back from the dead, resurrected from the dead and rip people's arms off. We're talking about
we're talking
drug that they use, pufferfish and stuff like that.
It's got some pufferfish in it, yes. We're talking, because they're not actually dead, but we're talking stuff that's in the voodoo religion.
Yes.
And I do say religion.
Definitely. So
that's what it is.
And then as I say, we're also waiting for dates for this Mars Codex thing as well, so which looks quite interesting. And this Richard Smith, just to let you know, he's into ufology, and he was talking about, probably right up Andy Street, talking about the Moors or something. Let me just see where it is. Where are we? YouTube. UFOteacher.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
when we say Moors, we're talking about the race of people, not
He's actually
the actual land.
He's actually got a page on YouTube called The Richard Smith Show, UFOteacher.com, and he talks about, let me see, where are we? The Moorish legacy and related matters. He's an experiencer, author and public speaker of the topic UFOs. He earned an associate's in advertising, art and design. He's worked with ET inventors and alien abductions, blah blah blah. So hopefully we're going to get a date from him as well. So and he's also connecting it, some of it, with this Masonic thing as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's got it connected to the
Masons. So I'm not sure where it actually is. I had it before. But we were listening to it, weren't we, recently?
Yeah.
And
ET inventors, Andy said.
ET inventors. Let me just check my LinkedIn because that's where I saw it. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm getting flash at this. This computer lark. Right, okay. 2 seconds. Let me see where it is here. So I'm just waiting for...
Can you say, when it comes to the zombies, which I'm sure Andy's friend will say is right, it's actually the ultimate punishment. And not done for fun.
No, it's not done for fun, which is quite thingy. It is, isn't it? It's some sort of drug that they have, isn't it? So that's the thing.
Yeah, because they're still actually alive. They're just not compos mentis.
The proper real zombies. So I'm just finding this Richard Smith, see what he said about himself. There he is. RichardSmith.com. Because he was talking about this Mars Codex thing.
Yeah, he's a lot of it runs alongside what he believes as well.
So it looks like LinkedIn is being a pain at the moment. So I can't tell you any more about that. But anyway, it's what you said. Yes, it is. ET inventors. Yes, that's what I said. ET inventors. That's what it says on his thing anyway. So don't ask. Haven't got a clue. We'll find out, I'm sure. Sooner or later we'll find out. But as I say, it seems to link it with the Masons, doesn't he, Steve?
He is linking it to a Masonic link. Basically, I think it's all about power. It's as always.
So, but anyway, that's what's coming up, and we'll be here next week.
This is where it's at.
With our guests, and hopefully with yourselves. Please have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If you're not joining us next week, I'm not expecting many guests on next week, but we will record it for everybody to listen to on Listen Again. So until next time, thank you for Andy707 for giving us a call with these opinions and being there for us every week. Thank you to Tigger, Reiki Debs, and Aggie, and everybody else that was in the chat room.
And all those that weren't just listening.
Oh, yes. And also to our guest, Miss Barbara Meiklejohn-Free. So, Andy said he'll be there. I'll speak to you soon. And until next time, good night and God bless. And keep the paranormal friendly.
Merry Xmas, everybody. Have a great Christmas.
To see in the night, to measure the spike, to see how cold it's been. I buy my kit so I won't forget the ghosties that I have seen. The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.